Peace, peace. What's going on, family? What is going on? It's your brother Naeem, BKA Lord Abbott, aka Mr. Just the Facts. My brother Josh is in the building, but he's gonna be jumping in and out. We're gonna talk a little bit about this discussion about this election rather of Joe Biden. Bear with me. I'm gonna see if I can get a couple people to come on so we could have a good roundtable discussion. And see, let me share this link out to a couple people. Let us tweet out that we're going live. Get everything situated. Okay, so we're live right now. Shout out to everybody. Hit the like button on your way in, family. Let's try to keep everything in the algorithm. Peace, fam. I see y'all coming into the chat. Corey the vegan. Shout out to the mod. He said, peace, family. What a damn day. Let me tell y'all, man, I just left from out being I had to do some running around. That's why I jumped on late. Go see my babies, chill with them for a little minute. And there's an energy outside, family. There's an energy outside that's celebratory. You feel it. It literally feels like a party night. And I'm in Georgia. So down here, the weather is absolutely beautiful. I didn't even check what the weather was, but I just know outside right now, 70 degrees at 628. It is, I mean, it's beautiful. You can feel the energy in the air. I mean, you feel it. This is something different. And some parts of you can't help but to compare the feeling that we all had when Trump won. Of course, we could sit around and be like, yeah, ain't no different, but don't front. When Trump won that presidency, some people were sitting around like that. I know I was. Let me speak for myself. The mood of a lot of people that I knew was off. I mean, it was the mood. It is an opposite feeling of what happened 4 years ago. It's the complete opposite. I wanted to pull up a shout out, Sister Riri. Shout out to all the rest of the mods in the building. If I didn't see you, let me see. I got my brother Grim joining us. Let me see. Okay, yeah, Margaret McCall. We got to put the full press on and force Biden to address the ADOS movement as soon as he is inaugurated. I'm going to speak to that. I'm going to speak to that. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. I see y'all shout outs. For my brother. Let me speak to that. ADOS North said 2 incarcerators were elected. That is a fact. But I want to speak to. I want to speak to this press for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and that administration, this democratically controlled House. I believe that Moo, shout out to brother Moo, man. He came on the other night and gave his measure. He said we should be happy Trump is gone, but we need to replace Biden with ourselves or we'll get another Trump. I wholeheartedly agree with that. at the least, if the person is going to be a person not of our lineage, then they should at the least be reparationists. Okay, so I think that the first step, and like I said, I like to be corrected if I'm wrong on anything. I like to give my opinions here. Certain things we solidify ourselves in, and certain measures are opinion. So I preface what I'm about to say with, this is my opinion. This is how I believe that we who are reparationists should push for our reparations over the next 4 years during this Biden-Kamala administration. Michael Walthor said, the most insulting thing I saw today was them having the shadow of Ruby Bridges on the wall and Kamala walking by. Very problematic. I actually seen that as well, Brother Mitchell Walthor. I've seen that as well. I think we'll get to that. We'll be able to get to that. Dr. Darity and A. Kirsten Mullins, in their book, it's crazy because every time I think about From Here to Equality, I always think about Dr. King's book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? It seemed like that's the first thought that pops up in my head when I'm thinking about that book. But he gives us the steps, and he calls it ARC: acknowledgement, redress, and closure. I am of the opinion, and I got my brothers on, and they could come in and give their measure on it as well. I am of the opinion that the first leg, now remember, ARC is acknowledgement, redress, and closure. We got 3 prongs to this thing: acknowledgement, redress, closure. What acknowledgement does is it sets the stage for the fact that a harm was done. Acknowledgement comes in the form of the President of the United States of America not only apologizing for slavery verbally, but signing an executive order saying that the United States officially apologizes for slavery. Officially. This then, in my opinion, sets the stage, because everything has to move in steps. And Dr. Darity, who I'm going to roll with, his information, he's been doing this longer than anybody. He and his wife's breakdown, Sister Kirsten Mullins, is that we can't get to Z without starting at A. So A should be the first press of our reparations. And again, this is my opinion, should be acknowledgement. Let us, from the time this man takes office, not strategize for how we push to get this acknowledgement. No, let's strategize now. He's the president-elect. He's the president-elect. So I think that, I'm going to address your comment, Mumu. Right now, ADOS only strategy is hoping someone else gives you something. Like, bro, I don't know if you understand. Yeah, like, I don't, and that's why we ask you to go back and watch a lot of the past episodes that we did. Like, because that's not a strategy, and nor is it the strategy of the ADOS movement. That I can say with 100% assurity. Let me pull that up on the screen. That's almost disrespectful, matter of fact. I got to pull that up. That's disrespectful. We got to address that. Make sure my bros. Let me know where y'all want to jump in on this. But right
Let
now,
me say something, man.
yeah, go
Let me
ahead,
say
bro.
something, man. First, I hope the brother has gone and picked up a copy of From Here to Equality. Uh, when if you say somebody like the let's say Coca-Cola truck hit you, right? And you looking, I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, well, all I can do is hope they give me something for hitting you. I mean, they hit you, they just kept it moving. So no, the key is you want to get them to you want to get the system that we live in this country to give you justice. They shouldn't just be able to hit you with their truck and keep it moving and nothing happens. And then like, what are you going to do? Yeah, obviously you're going to have to rehabilitate, and you're going to have to, it's not up to them for you to rehabilitate your body in the hospital, right? But it is up to them. It is on them to, when a body of law enforcement or criminal justice or whoever, it is up to them to do their job on them, and it is up to the court system to serve justice on the civil side, to make sure you're made whole, to make sure they pay a penalty to redress your grievance for the crime that they committed upon you. So it's not you looking to give them something. It's not we're looking to waiting for somebody to give us something. We are doing the work to force the hand to give us justice. It's not, so when you say give us something, you're acting like it's something that we're not owed. That's what it sounds like. Something that we're not owed, something that was not taken from us. That's just like somebody rob you, and you just saying, well, me trying to get my stuff back from them is waiting for them to give me something. Like other than us going to stick them up and going and putting them at gunpoint and robbing them, like, what is that? What you're suggesting? You think we're supposed to just go out here and just start tearing stuff up and killing people, and thinking that's supposed to get us justice? That's not going to work. I don't understand what people are thinking when they say the statement, we're waiting for somebody to give us something. They're acting like we not like we have capital to do business.
They don't understand that it's a debt that is owed to us, bro. And somebody in the chat said the brother Mumu need to go back to square one. And he does. I don't know if
go read. The first thing you need to do, bro, you need to get you a copy of that From Here to Equality.
That's
and you
right.
need to read that cover to cover. Then you need to come back to the conversation, and then we can see what you have to add after that.
That's right. So we had to address that.
And that's respectfully, because a lot of us was in some of these same places as far as the comments or perspectives. We was at some of these same places, until we dug in and we listened to the credible scholars and the credible people in the space, the historians, the economists, and the people that know what they're talking about.
Indeed, we got brother Dre in the building. Let me introduce him before you come on, Grim. We got brother Dre. I'm gonna say, all right, wait. I gotta address some clown in the chat. Every once in a blue, we gotta address some of these clowns. One day we won't. We hopefully we get the brother Wu Jiao to come on a little earlier. So let's this drama Seidel L said, I don't use that word, but this nigga Lord Abba went from a Moore to an ADOS. So let me I'm compelled to address that. Since we've been doing Be the Power, brother Josh, you've been on here day one with me. Have I ever disavowed my Moorish identity?
No.
No. You've heard me constantly and repeatedly say, I am a Moorish American. I'm a Moor. And I asking you because you've been here. Sometimes we could give the wrong side of a story. But have you heard me say that, bro?
No, I've heard you. I haven't heard you say anything. You've been saying the same thing,
The same
consistently.
thing, right? That I'm a
Yeah.
Moorish American. I'm a Moorish American Muslim, matter of fact. So I gotta address some, these types of clowns, because these are the type of people that are the reason why brothers like myself, like my brother Grim, he cracking his neck right now because he want to get in on some of this on some of this action.
Hey,
That
let's not spend too much time on
yeah,
that.
now we're not
On
going to
that.
spend too
I
much time because
can
we
I
want to
just
get
say
in.
one thing real quick?
Yeah,
Because
go
I
ahead,
just to
bro.
kind of look. I mean, I know in that space for several years, like
Mm-hmm.
going all the way back to probably like 12 or 13,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, look, this is the thing. The thing that brings so many of us together as a part of this movement is that we put any other school of thought secondary to the overall goal, which is justice for our people. We don't, it's not, I don't care if you believe, you talking about Hebrew Israelite, I don't care if you're talking about Nation Islam, I don't care if you're talking about, the Christian church, and I don't care if you're talking about the Catholic church, I don't care if you're talking about the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is a lineage movement. This is about those people that come from the lineage that descend from slavery,
That's
who's
right.
deserving of justice, who's at the bottom of the bottom, who's owed a multi-trillion-dollar debt. This is something that's unifying for all of us. I think that's the thing that a lot of us that have that lineage see that, and we like, let's put some of these ideological differences down that are immaterial to moving us towards justice, so we can all find a common ground on one thing we can build and push towards together, which that is reparations, and it's in politics that's going to be specific for
All right,
our
hold
peoples
on, hold
only.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. He said, "I will never call myself a slave." You wildin'.
Hey, let
Wait,
me
wait,
jump
wait,
in,
but
boy.
wait. Before you jump in, the lineage is America's descendants of slavery, not slaves. So when you come to be the power, please make sure you know what you're talking about. First and foremost, make sure you know what you talk about when you run up on them, because you might get punched in your mouth. You just might get punched in your mouth because you don't know what you talk about. Like we gonna keep it official here. So you don't know what you're talking about, and you're just being a troll right now on the channel. But I think it's good to highlight people like this, because if we're gonna ever get it right, then we gotta address these slow people in the building too. Because some of these people may have some type of influence. Slavery was an institution. So it's America's descendants of slavery. This distinguishes us from a Jamaican American, a Haitian American, a Liberian American, a Nigerian American, because African American has now become an all inclusive term. And even Moorish American, because of probably idiots like you who are so dogmatic that you don't know what you're talking about, and you just flapping off at the trap about things that Noble Drew Ali, the founder, never even brought or spoke to or was even dogmatic about. So go ahead, Grim, and then I want my brother Dre to come on, and then brother Ali, our other BTP member, is in the building. I want you to, because I want to go in on what Mumu says about ADOS is begging, basically. That's
Well, first
what,
of all, let me thank Josh. Let me thank brother Josh Gray L for being so positive and explaining the situation humbly as he did. But me, well, let me say this before. I don't have no goals or aspirations on being anybody leader anymore, me personally. I was in the movement. So with that being said, I'ma say, fuck that nigga, Dramacidal L. And I hope that nigga and his whole fucking family rot in
oh,
jail.
chill.
No, give me a second. Give me
Go
a second,
ahead.
man.
Go
Because
ahead, bro.
you know, I'm not gonna go. This just me. I'm not speaking for Be the Power. I'm not speaking for Be the Power. Because Be the Power is not that type of platform. I was deep in that Moorish movement along with my brother. As a matter of fact, I at one point in time headed a temple, just for all you ADOS people out there to know. But the bottom line is that most of them, this don't have nothing to do with the founder, Noble Drew Ali. I want to get that straight. So I'm not cursing Noble Drew Ali. But let me tell y'all, for anybody who's ever seen that stuff, been interested in that stuff, looked at that stuff, them Moorish dudes ain't worth a fuck. They lives, you look at their whole movement, you got people from the Nation of Islam done great things. People from the NAACP did. You can't name one fucking thing that one of them trashy ass nigga Moors have ever done for anybody but operate in the dregs of their society and try to be up on their high horse, criticizing a brother who's in the form of Naheem Way that's trying to do something good for our people. So let me just say, he said a man went from being a Moor to being ADOS, right? The bottom line is that them niggas operate off a pretended nationality. They have no connections to Morocco, no connections with no legitimate government, right? No connections to any legitimate organizations. They got 10 dudes out there that's all saying that they the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So the hell with them niggas that call themselves Moors, criticizing somebody that call themselves American descendants of slavery. And that's the bot. But I want to thank Josh for being so positive, because my tolerance for them L's and them Bays, even though I'm an L, my tolerance for them dudes ran out a long time ago. And that none of them dudes got anything positive to say with this thing going on. This whole Donald Trump presidency that's about to end have shown that anything them dudes talk about as far as their sovereign citizenship, their paperwork, all that stuff has been shown to be null and void in this administration that we have going on here. I apologize to you, Naheem, for
it's all good, bro.
I apologize to the viewers for the language that I use. But the bottom line is that I do not tolerate any Moorish foolishness. And now let me get back. Noble Drew Ali made a statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
In his constitution and bylaws. And he was like, excuse me, Noble Drew Ali basically said that the names or whatever that was put upon us, these slave markers, now I'm paraphrasing, were names given to us by the slaveholders. And that lasted until 1865. Now, when you're dealing with 1865, you're dealing with the end of the Civil War and the emancipation of the so-called Negro, coloreds, and blacks, right? So this thing is specifically tied into the ADOS movement because the original Moorish Science Temple, not this clown, it was made as a reformatory attempt at correcting the situation of the people who were put in bondage under chattel slavery.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, in some of the archives that I have of the old Moorish newspapers that Noble Drew Ali them had, Noble Drew Ali them was still addressing what they call peonage, the peonage in the slave system of sharecropping and stuff like that. They were still addressing that stuff in their newspaper in the 20s and 30s. So the original intent of the founder was directly tied in to the civic issues that we're talking about today. And he also made a statement in the prophecy, I ain't gonna be on this too long, stating that the Europeans are going to be made to pay back, and I'm paraphrasing, they're going to be made to pay back the descendants of slavery in compound interest.
That's right.
So that is what we're talking about, reparations. Now, just because it's taking form in a different movement, that's not our problem. That's y'all problem because y'all failed.
That's right. So we had to had to address the troll in the building. My brother Dre dropped off. He is not letting him. Dre is saying your mic and your cam is not connected. So, brother Ali, if you want to address the Mumu guy,
Mhm.
and anything else that you've heard, I don't know if we should spend any time on that. The clown that's claiming he's a Moorish, whatever, just coming here to troll. You know, I'm a always have my little hater fans. That's
Yeah.
it's been like
Understood.
that for a long time. But
Understood.
you know, Mumu says that ADOS is begging.
Well, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, you see what he's talking about, right?
Well, let me just say this, just for just so we are clear. He says that he's for reparations, but he figures he has a strategy, or I guess he has a strategy, or he feels like ADOS's strategy is wrong. The thing about it, brother Mumu, you got to think about it like this, right? The Constitution guarantees to the citizens the right to petition the government for redress of any specific grievances that they may have. What ADOS is doing, what any reparations movement is doing and is about fundamentally, is about the redress of specific grievances that stem from the time period of chattel slavery. And we like to say we start with 1776, when the United States becomes a body politic, till the present time, basically to the present time. But some will stop at 1965, 68 with those civil rights acts. But at the end of the day, you have to take your grievances to the right parties. The right party in this instance is the United States of America and the federal government. And there are specific reasons for that, historical reasons, legal reasons. The fact of the matter is, our people were abandoned. Our people weren't protected. Our people were taken as slaves and property of white people based on the whims of white people. It wasn't rooted in any law. There was no colonial charter that granted them the authority to take property and man. There was nothing in the Constitution, nothing in the Declaration of Independence, nothing in the Articles of Confederation. Nothing granted them the authority to do this. They did it because they wanted to. And this government didn't protect us. Moving from chattel slavery into Reconstruction into Jim Crow. Same thing. The government failed to protect a segment of its citizenry. So what we're talking about is a redress of grievances. Our particular grievances had nothing to do with begging.
The brother doesn't.
Begging. But
He doesn't.
But you can't conflate. You can't change presenting your case, presenting your claim, stating your claim with begging. You can't do that, because for that matter, anybody that goes into court, you're going to say they're begging when they're taking something into a civil court. Everybody's begging. All of the lobbyists are begging. When they go to the government, they're begging. Anybody who accepts a bailout or goes to try to apply for a bailout is begging. You can't do that. That's not what this is about. It's about presenting your claim. An injured party presenting a claim against the right party. And that's what we're talking about. It's not about begging.
Brother Dre.
Yo, y'all can hear me? Or is it?
Yeah, we hear you, bro.
I know that stream y'all don't be agreeing with my phone. Once again, thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. Shout out to you brothers. I think Ali, Josh, and my man Grim, and you, Lord Abba.
Pete.
So from my vantage point, I travel a lot, and one of my favorite adages, I was at this factory in China, and one of the owners of the China said, "Andre, I like you." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because in China, there's an old statement, the foolish holler while the wise whisper." And, we look at these people celebrating symbolism. Once again, there's no win in this election for us, like, unless it's your local government. What did you really win? Right? So instead of people claiming number 45 or Trump is a open racist, so we're going to get a guy who was anti-integration of schools, man who created a crime bill, and we get the Brahmin bigot, and we're celebrating as if we won something. At the end of the day, like I tell everyone, Obama's presidency taught me how much I didn't know politics, and Trump's presidency showed me how 90% of our demographic don't know politics. Like, what are you celebrating? And why would I even celebrate Harris, right? Like, the polls show that we didn't come out for her. But more importantly, why would I celebrate someone who's blatantly said she's not going to do nothing for your own demographic? But she's a black woman. But she's not going to do nothing for us, but she's a black woman. None of this makes sense to me. And this is why the last time when I was on y'all show, I said it's disingenuous intelligence. Because we know everything about nothing. And then when it's time to know something that is pertinent, we absolutely know nothing. And that's why I don't, if y'all notice, like I really like faded to black with it. Because I'm no longer like, I'm kind of jaded with the whole situation. I said to a kid today who from Alphabet City, for y'all who are from New York, Lord Abba, I think Ali, this fool, we won. I'm like, we who? You're not a
we
Democrat.
Sick? We sick?
Yeah, he said, we won. So then I said, so I wanted to show him something. I said, yo, fam, do you know someone locked up? He was like, yeah. How long they been locked up? Man, about 25 years. I said, okay, crime bill. So then I said, where do you live? In the projects, Alphabet City. I said, okay, that's Jim Crow Joe. I said, could you tell me one, outside of the tax plan, which was Paul Ryan's tax plan, what did Trump really do to you? And I'm not taking up for Trump, but the one thing this media has kind of like done at a the best execution we've ever seen. The one thing this media has done has made this man look like the Antichrist when all of these other presidents propagated similar rhetoric. And it's like, what are we really talking about? So we got one woman making your brother and your cousin fight fires for less than $1 a day, locking up mothers whose children has an IEP, and we celebrating in the streets. It's like, what? And that's why I faded to black off of, Garfield show. A lot of people show because I realized something. We just happy to argue. We're not really like focused on the actual redress or the problem. So it's like, yo, let's just.
That's what Mumu.
Black woman who doesn't.
That's what Mumu doing right now. Look, that's what Mumu is doing right now. He's just happy to argue.
Mumu's my man, so I love Mumu. You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah,
but that don't mean he ain't happy to argue.
No, listen, Mumu, listen. The one thing you learn in life is just that vantage point is vantage point. People are gonna have their. But this is my thing, right? So one of my favorite books, How the Jews Built Hollywood, it shows you the fraternity of said religion or culture. It's a fraternity. That's why I watch what I say around anyone that's any shade lighter than me, right? Because they may not wear a yarmulke, but say something that they don't like, it's gonna come out, right? We the only people that until we say, it's almost like the movie Black Panther. Everybody loved Killmonger until he said he was gonna rescue black people around the world. Then they said, we gotta get rid of this nigga. I found that very funny in that movie. So we love him. We kind of hate him until he said, we got all this artillery and we got all these ships and I'm gonna send it around the world to liberate. What he said, 300 million black people? And they said, no, we gotta get rid of him. I said, well, ain't that a bitch? And it's the same thing, man. Like that's why I can sit here and I can watch this stuff now, and I really don't. It's just, we really don't. We're fine. We're fine being the stepping stool. Because that's what this election really was, right? You had one president that gave you an illusion, like, hey, I will do this for you. Yeah, it's no meat and potatoes in the plan, but I'll do it. Then we got one that said, listen, I like you guys, even though I incarcerated you guys, and even though I said I don't want you next to my children, and I got a pseudo black woman next to me. And we was like, yeah, that's what we want. Yeah,
pseudo black.
I'm in a speechless state of mind, man.
Yeah,
she's not. Come on, man. Chelsea Handler's more of a black woman than.
That's funny.
But I'm a chill for a second and let y'all go in because
all right.
I'm about to head to the gym, but I'm gonna log back on.
All right,
listen, I'm
definitely.
listening.
All right, definitely, bro. Yeah, I mean, shout out to the brother Dre for coming through. We're gonna try to get the brother Wu Jiao on, just trying to have a roundtable discussion. I brought up something earlier, and now that we have a little bit more people on, and I want to kind of circle back around to that, where I was speaking about. They go in the chat. Cynthia said, "Damn, not Chelsea Handler." I said that reparations needs to happen in particular steps, and one of the steps, as laid out by Dr. Darity and A. Kirsten Mullins in their book From Here to Equality, the ARC, acknowledgement, redress, and closure. And I said the first leg of this reparations push, and I want my brother's take on this, should be to push for Joe Biden to sign an executive order acknowledging that, the acknowledgement, which comes in the form of the United States of America apologizes for its role in slavery. And I want the wording to be correct as well. So, because that leads to the redress. I believe, and I believe that this is what the authors of the book believe as well, that you can't get to one without the other, because the first thing is the acknowledgement. And once America finally acknowledges that it had a role to play in slavery, it let certain things happen. It went into 3/5 compromises, the compromises of 1877, the rolling back of 40 acres and a mule, and Reconstruction provisions under Andrew Johnson, which essentially ended Reconstruction. I believe that the first piece of this reparations push comes through an executive order saying the United States of America apologizes for slavery. Bros, what is y'all take on that? How do y'all feel about that?
Hold on, because say it again, because I was a little distracted responding to Mumu in the chat. What did you say the last?
Yo, Mumu, man, Mumu. Chill.
No, it's all right. But what was the last thing?
I was saying about all right. Let me say it first, then I want to read Sister Cynthia's comment. Matter of fact, let me pull it up on the screen. I was saying that Dr. Darity and A. Kirsten Mullins in their book speaks to ARC, acknowledgement, redress, and closure. I believe that the first push, now that we know that Joe Biden is the president, he's the president-elect right now, and he'll be sworn in January. I believe that the first push that us reparationists need to become very loud about is getting within this, possibly the first 100 days, Joe Biden, and I just added that first 100 days part, to acknowledge America's role in slavery by signing an executive order saying that the United States of America apologizes for slavery. Then we get to the redress part. What do y'all feel about that being phase one of a reparations strategy?
Definitely. He should do that, and that's within his power to do. As executive, he can definitely do that, and I think he should, especially since everybody is saying that Black America delivered this presidency to him from the time of the primaries in South Carolina to this point. Black America delivered it to him. Philly came through. Pennsylvania came through. You know what I'm saying? So does he owe Black Americans? Yes, he does. And can he do something like that? Sure. And absolutely, I think he should. The fact of the matter is we need to push this, just taking into consideration what Mumu is consistently talking about in the chat. we come from a stock of people who fight. This is what I said to him. He said, what happens if the government doesn't do reparations for us, doesn't acknowledge slavery first, whatever the case is? I said, well, we keep on pushing because that's the stock of people that we come from. We come from fighters. All what we've done in this country was fight. And so we're going to continue to fight until we get what we're owed. Same thing happened with the Civil War. Same thing happened with the Reconstruction Amendments, the Civil Rights Acts of the 60s. We're going to keep pushing until we get what's owed to us. We're not going to stop. You know, I mean, this is one administration. We have to keep going. It's as simple as that. So, you know, in terms of doing something big, like I told the brother in the chat, the biggest thing we can do as citizens of the United States is reparations. Is to push for a comprehensive reparations bill that will effectively address the consequences of blackness in America being bottom casted and locked out. That's something that has to happen. Like someone else said to him in the chat, during the Reconstruction period, the government abandoned us. They never finished Reconstruction. It was a failed effort, right? It was a sabotaged effort. So we're more mature. We understand. We have the information. We have the knowledge. We have the wisdom. We have the know-how to make it happen, right? We know that it doesn't have to come through tax dollars. We have all of this information now, so there's nothing holding us back. We help these people get into the White House. If we get lucky, because we have a runoff in Georgia. If the runoff goes the way that the Democrats want, it will become a tie in the Senate. Kamala Harris as the vice president gets, because she's the president of the Senate, as the vice president, she's the president of the Senate, she gets to break the tie. So at the end of the day, I know what these people said. Kamala says she's not going to do nothing specifically for black people. But remember, what we said on the last show to you was reparations is something that's going to have to come through Congress. And if we can move the Congress the way that we need to, the president is going to sign off on it. We delivered the presidency. Remember that. That's what everybody's saying. That's what history is going to record for 2020. Black America, in the midst of a pandemic, delivered the presidency. We're old, and we would be absolutely crazy to stop pushing that with as much steam that the reparations conversation has picked up at this time. I just seen a couple of articles on ABC News where now you have health experts talking about, yeah, reparations is something that needs to be done, because not only would the money help them economically, but it would help them health-wise. We can't stop. This is the time to put your foot on the gas.
He said, what does keep fighting mean? Break that down and show how it's been working. What? Go ahead.
You could go in.
Okay. And Grim, you could come in after that, whatever you want to jump in on, bro. Okay, so you have a movement, like I always say on this platform, that we're going to always give credit where credit is due, period. And the ADOS movement created the groundswell that we see right now with reparations. It became front and center. People took the message during the primaries and the lead up to the primaries, and they went to these politicians' speeches live. Brother Mumu, I hope you're listening. And they pressed them and they asked them, what about reparations? It got to the point where the answer was inescapable. See, you came on the other night and talked about a plan that you want to see a 10-point but we can't find traces of that anywhere, right? And this ain't no diss towards you. This is just real, that the stuff you're talking about is just ideas that you have. So now this conversation of reparations becomes louder and louder and louder. That's the fight right there. We're going to put reparations in these politicians' faces. So much so that when the candidates make it to the debate stage, the moderators are asking the question, what about reparations for America's descendants of slavery? How do you feel about that? For the first time, we've seen this question asked repeatedly, because there were other candidates that brought it up on a debate stage in the past. So we're not going to say it was the first time it was ever addressed on the debate stage. But for the first time, it became a part of a line of questioning, Brother Mumu. It became a part of the line of, these are the questions that I am going to ask the candidates. During George Floyd's death and the subsequent uprisings that we've seen all over this nation, journalists and mainstream media grew a conscience, and they started to produce these articles centered around reparations. There were many that were starting to come out since the conversation had taken hold, but in that George Floyd period, you started to notice about 5, 6, 7 articles that came out within a few weeks. All of these different articles that came from the work of those people that have a plan. ADOS101.com. That is a plan. That's a strategy. That's a part of a strategy. Dr. Sandy Darity and A. Kirsten Mullins, in their book From Here to Equality, gives us the actual blueprint on how to make the plan work, period. So if you haven't read any of these things, if you haven't read Dr. Darity's works with the Roosevelt Institute, bro, I'm not going to call you a troll. I'm not going to do that, but you're speaking out of ignorance, bro. You're just speaking out of ignorance. Go learn and then come back. And instead of trying to push back, you'll be able to join into the conversation, and then you can ask, what can I do to help? Go ahead, Brother Green.
Right. And let me say, brother, man, I like Moo Moo, man. I like Moo Moo. I was tuned into the show yesterday when he was saying what he was saying, but I'm just saying that Moo Moo is a person that wants to do something. He wants to see things done. But I believe that he's jumping in to a conversation, and possibly he's going to jump in future into activism without having the full knowledge of what's going on, how things operate, how they move. When I was listening to him, he basically made the point of what we should do. He was saying what we should do, but he didn't say what we should do. He, as you say, presented a list of ideas of what he believed should be done, and didn't provide any procedural things like he should have to accomplish what he was saying upon his list. So, like I said, I like Moo Moo, but I see the philosophical and the political immaturity in the things that he's bringing up, and but I give the brother for respect for being, he said he's not a troll. I take him at his word, and but he's presenting ideas.
If he keep commenting without going to do research,
right?
I'm gonna start calling him a troll. I'm just gonna keep it official with y'all.
But I'm just saying, but I believe the brother should go back, as you say, and do some research, learn, see what's going on. Go to ADOS101.com, read Dr. Darity's book, and then come back and join on to this conversation. Because some of the things that he's saying about what we're going to do is being done now. In fact, reparations was something that was talked about in the corners of Black society, and in minuscule sales, minuscule scales in Congress for a bill that has been floating around for what? How long? 20, 30 years? A bill that nobody really, and now the heat and the attention is on that bill, not so much because of the nature of the bill itself and the power of the bill itself, but it's being talked about because of the addition of the ADOS movement and making points about a black agenda and reparations, in the past few years that has propelled this topic to the forefront, that it was even questions posed to political candidates about these very same issues that we're talking about.
Indeed. Brother Ali, you wanted to speak to that?
Yeah, I have to agree with everything Brother Grimm was just saying, and basically it is what we're seeing with our brother Mumu is something that we've seen a lot. People who get into a conversation kind of late in the conversation without the like rudimentary stuff to really be able to speak with real intelligence. And I don't mean intelligence as in you're stupid or something. I mean intelligence in terms of information, like, gathering intelligence or information as to what's been done. Like Brother Grimm said, the things that have already been done by different grassroots movements, not just ADOS, but other movements as well. But ADOS specifically in this time, at the advocacy. One of the things that people discount is advocacy. They think that that's not really doing anything. But advocacy is a very important part of doing politics. You have to advocate for what it is that you need, what you want, what you're looking for, what you expect of your representatives and everything else. So there's a reason why HR 40 went from 2 or 4 co-sponsors to over 150 since ADOS came on the scene. There's a reason why, because of the advocacy, because of all of the hoopla, because of getting in all of these politicians' faces, like Brother Naheem was saying. During the primaries, the Democratic primaries, you had ADOS running up on a lot of these candidates and putting the whole reparations conversation in their faces. What the Democrats were going to do is they were going to talk about DACA. DACA was the thing, doing for immigrants was the thing that they were going to be focused on until ADOS came and changed the course of the conversation, bro. Like, this is the actual history of what happened over the past year and a half. But you have to know that, and if you know that, then you'll understand the effects of it, and you won't have to ask, well, what does it mean to continue fighting, and how has that been working? You went from 4 co-sponsors underneath Obama. I think during the Obama administration, he pretty much killed the momentum. And so it had maybe 40 something co-sponsors. And then when Barack Obama became president, all of the co-sponsors dropped off. After his presidency, it comes Trump. Then comes ADOS. And we went from damn near 0 to over 150, damn near 160 co-sponsors on this bill. Not only that, you also have a Senate companion bill introduced by Cory Booker. That's never happened before, ever. So progress is being
not
made.
Only that, we got a bill in California. That's the first ever state bill. California, the 5th largest economy in the world. The state that has the fifth largest number of black people in it. I think it's like 2.3 or 2.2 million black folks in California. Now that bill was even different in HR 40 because it had specific language that was more that language that was more suited to fit ADOS into a reparations bill that even if HR 40 runs out and we decide we want to run something else, that's more of a track to run on than HR 40 is. So I ain't mean to cut you off, Ali. I'll let you finish.
No. You right on point with that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's an important aspect that I bet you Brother Mumu didn't know, and not just Mumu, but just people in general who are in the same headspace that he's in. There's just a lot that's been going on that a lot of people don't know about. AB 3121 is the actual bill that Brother Josh is talking about, and our family out there in California, our ADOS family out there in California, were the ones who were really pushing to get that bill passed. And with the help of our brother Ice Cube, who I'm so glad came on and assisted with that, we're able to get that thing passed and signed by the governor of California. So that's a precedent that was set there. That's a precedent. Like, you got to understand the importance of precedents being set. There's precedents being set. With Cory Booker introducing a companion bill like that in the Senate, that's precedent. That was never done before. So you can't say, how has it been working? If you look at the different things that have happened as we progress to the point where we are now, you will understand exactly what's been going on in a short time span. Like, if you think about it, within the last year and a half, this thing has taken on a real life, man. You know what I mean? Where before, like Brother Grimm said, man, that was something that was talked about in the corners of society. So yeah, we've made a lot of progress, and we've changed the course of the political landscape, so much so that you have articles like Brother Naheem was telling you. We have so many articles. You have so many economists speaking on it. It's just a great thing right now, and it's a momentum that has built up. And I believe it's the ancestors, man, that's really pushing this thing the way it's going right now, and we need to respect that. And like I said, we need to put our foot on the gas. This is a time to really step on it, because I live at this presidency. So we need to step on the gas and make sure America understands the significance of our particular tribe. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man, I wanted to say something, and not even, this is not having to do with anybody in the chat. It's just something that we were talking about earlier. I was watching as soon as the announcements came, where all the major news networks were recognizing Biden had won the election. I think I was watching CBS, and I was watching ABC News, and I was like, I'm tired of this. So I was watching CBS News, and Clyburn actually came on, and they were asking Clyburn. They were basically saying, "Yeah, man, Biden was dead in the water," and then you gave your endorsement of him, and then he went on to win South Carolina, and he, the rest was history. He won the primary. He ended up being the nominee, and now, you delivered for him. So, do you see yourself getting a place in his administration? And Clyburn said, "Nah, I'm cool with being the whip. Obviously, if he asks for advice or to help him with something in his administration, I help him. But I'm not gonna. I want to keep my position in the House." And so, but what Clyburn did say, this actually was surprising. He said, "What I would like to see him do is to form a commission to study the effects of that crime bill, because it did a lot of damage to Black folks." And I was like, that's interesting. You're acknowledging that now, but you gave your endorsement to him then. That doesn't make sense. Like that's not adding up. And I don't, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe he's seeing that like I've been pressured for reparations last time. Let me advocate for something this time. But I'm seeing also that, if there was some type of commission, and by Clyburn acknowledging the fact that Biden can form a commission, it tells us that, Clyburn, why don't you just go all the way and say, I need Joe Biden to form a commission to study reparations proposals? You don't need to study effects for the crime bill. The crime bill is a part of, like, why did you have disproportionate ADOS crime? It's part of it because we were criminalized. Part of it is because we were poor. Most of y'all had denied us from accessing wealth. Y'all, the same giveaways and social safety nets and opportunities for wealth, access to capital and access to government programs. Y'all denied that from us and gave it to white America. So y'all artificially kept us at the bottom. That was artificial. That wasn't through our own doing. That was you artificially kept us at the bottom. And then you turn around and say, well, why, after y'all done packed us in hoods and ran some drugs all through there, and then you go, why these people poor? Why they ain't crying? Why is the neighborhood bad? Obviously. So you want him to study a commission on the crime bill, but not the reason that he was able to have the politicize, to be able to politicize and a rationale for passing the crime bill, right? Nah. So I'm saying that might be a potential dodge down the line. And then it'll be Biden can leave and look at that. And I don't even think Biden will do that. But I'm just saying, if pressure got put on, that might be a potential dodge for him to a punt, so they don't have to do reparations. But let me just do this crime bill study. I mean, we don't need them studies. We already got. You can go just pick up the new Jim Crow. That's the study. That's already the study right there.
Already been done.
All them studies. They people that made movies. You don't even make no study. That needs to be. But if that even is the dodge, that's just one point and one reason that reparations, just add that to the tab. That's an admission of guilt of reparations. So if you're gonna have an apology for the crime bill, you might as well go ahead and do like Brother Naheem said, apologize for America's role and the U.S. government's role in American slavery. You can apologize for your personal role in the crime bill. That's fine. But go ahead and apologize.
88 or 98 that Congress did something. And I'm going to look into that because I want to know.
Congress made.
Yeah, I want to know the difference.
Congress made an apology, but I don't think it was bipartisan, and it wasn't attached to none. But I want the president to do it. I want the president.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's powerful.
And I want the president to form that commission. I want to give that he came out with the Kerner Commission. Lyndon Johnson did. That Kerner Commission.
That's right, the Kerner Commission.
Yeah.
We need a Darren Commission.
Yeah.
We need a Darren Commission.
We need it.
All right, look, I want to pull this comment back up. I want Brother Grin to address this. Logic is usually the one that goes in on this particular topic right here, dealing with the economy. Jersey Shiest, who's in the chat, and some people, they come and they come in ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, they don't understand because they haven't listened to the platform long enough. They haven't watched the videos on this channel and many of the other channels that are connected with the ADOS movement. But the question says, not question, statement, comment. Honestly, in a COVID-depressed economy, you can't realistically expect reparations to be a primary issue anytime soon. You want to speak to that, Brother Grim?
Yeah, brother, man. First, this COVID-19 thing is not going to be around forever. And you don't just abandon a particular issue of justice, based upon an epidemic or a pandemic or any type of situation. Just as long as life is rolling on, that's as long as we're supposed to be fighting for this reparations. And this thing is not a fly-by-night thing that's going to happen overnight. So let's not get it twisted. So you have to keep, everybody else is still moving for the things that they want to do, and in regards to having interest in the government. People are still filing bills. There's still political pressure groups. There's still lobbyists, all lobbying to do the things that they want to do and manipulate the government the way that they want the government to go. So the same thing should be with reparations, and COVID-19 shouldn't be an issue to stop building on and stop talking about and addressing the issues of reparations and the Black agenda. We should keep going on during COVID-19 because that's affecting us the most anyway. And we should keep going on after COVID-19. But this thing is not going to be a fly-by-night situation where they're going to pay us any type of check or whatever, or any type of reparations bill, a positive reparations bill, I should say, overnight. So this is a long-haul thing. So, COVID-19 is all, other than the fact that it's killing our people, is almost irrelevant to the long haul of addressing the things of our people. You know, COVID not going to be here for forever, or it may be here forever, but it may not be an issue forever.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to pull this article up for Jersey Shiest, and hopefully Jersey Shiest will take the time to read this article. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it in the chat for you, Jersey Shiest, so that you could understand that what we're dealing with is a system where the government gets to print its own money. That's what we're dealing with here. Warren Buffett has spoken to it. I can pull up a bunch of different articles, man. I can pull up a whole bunch of different stuff. Stephanie Kelton, who wrote the book, The Deficit Myth, she also has a bunch of different stuff as well, dealing with the fact that government can print up as much money as they want to. The only issue with printing up money like that is the risk of inflation. But outside of that, you know, and this is something that has to be studied. And I hope Jersey Shiest clicks on that link. Matter of fact, let me put it back in the chat again so that Jersey Shiest can see it, because Jersey Shiest is saying that we're missing his or her point. And no, we're not missing your point. The fact of the matter is, this is a federal government that has many commissions, and these commissions and these agencies and these cabinets do many different things. So the government knows how to chew. What is it? Walk gum and chew bubble gum at the same time, fam.
Walk and chew gum at the same time. And let me just add a little bit to that. When you talk about the economy, you're talking about all of the citizenry, right? And our people are a part of the citizenry. The thing about it is, we tend to separate the issues concerning Black people from American issues. Our issues are American issues. What happens with us affects the economy. If Black America is bottom casted economically, don't you realize that that's going to affect the economy in a negative way? You understand what I'm saying? So our issues are a part of the American issues, and our economic issues are a part of America's economic problems. They have to be addressed. They have to be addressed. So this article, was on ABC News. It just came through. What's today? Came through yesterday, November 6th. Some experts propose reparations as a solution for decades of racial health inequities. So not only are we talking about reparations in terms of the economy, but you're also talking about reparations in terms of how it will affect us health-wise. So let's read a little bit from it. As COVID-19 exacerbates long-standing health inequities affecting the Black population. Remember, the Black population are tax-paying citizens of the United States. So our economic and health problems are American problems. Don't think we should always be putting our issues on the back burner for everybody else's. Because when you start talking about the economy of America, you're talking about what's affecting Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, etc., white people, whether that be Italians, whether that be Spaniards, whether that be Greek Americans, whether that be Anglo Americans. So in other words, there are a bunch of ethnic groups of people here who make up or are part of the American economy who have issues. And you're saying that every one of those groups of people's issues are more important than our particular segment of the society's issues. And we're saying that that's not true. That's not true. And like brother says, this country can walk and chew gum at the same time. So let's go further. The concept of government issue reparations for the descendants of slaves has been discussed for decades, with national figures like Senator Kamala Harris expressing some level of support. California, Illinois, Washington, D.C. have introduced bills to study how to best implement reparations for historical injustices placed on Black Americans. And with Black Americans, we're specifically talking about the American descendants of slavery, not everybody who's claiming to be Black people. Now, a growing number of public health experts say reparations could create results for the Black community beyond narrowing the wealth divide by combating enduring health inequities. Cash restitution would save lives, said Harvard Dr. FXB Center for Health and Human Rights Director Dr. Mary Bassett, who recently argued for reparations as a strategy to decrease health disparities in a recent article in the New England Journal of Medicine. There's a strong positive correlation between socioeconomic status or income and health outcomes, including mortality, Bassett said. We already know that if you feel secure, you're more likely to exercise more, to have less stress, to gain less weight, not to develop sleep apnea, you name it, said Dr. Chiki A. Dubeni, director of the Mayo Clinic Center for Health Equity and Community Engagement Research. So the point is, not only are we talking about economics, but we're also talking about how that would help with our health in this country. Remember, we're taxpaying citizens of this country just like anybody else. And remember, we have the right to petition the government for our specific redress of grievances just like anybody else. So you got to stop thinking we need to put our things on the back burner so that Italian Americans can get what they need, so that Irish Americans can get what they need, so that Cuban Americans can get what they need. No, African Americans was here before most of those people we're talking about. Our things need to come first. I'm sorry. It may hurt somebody's feeling, but that's just what it is.
Right. And let me add to what you just said real briefly. And a lot of that is tied to what we talk about in our private conversations as far as the psychology. And the bottom line is this, that there are some of our people, right, that really do not believe that in their minds, number one, that they're worthy of anything to be put on the primary above anything else in regards to other people, if you follow what I'm saying. The second thing is that a lot of our people deep down inside here in this country, even though we're living here and we going to and fro in the earth, a lot of us don't really truly believe that we citizens of this country. So issues like reparations and the Black agenda is always in their mind going to take a backseat to anything else. But I want to change the mode of the conversation back to, what we originally came on here to talk about, which is how our people basically delivered the election for the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party's national candidate, Joe Biden. And the bottom line is this: our people have always been the moral conscience and a moral compass for this nation from its inception. All those people were sitting there, they was crying and moaning and complaining about what the British was doing them, and the British was taxing them without representation. But it was a Black man was the first one that pick up one of them sticks or one of them rocks and crash them at the British, and he was the first casualty of the American Revolution, and it has not stopped all the way till today, to this very election. I guess we'll get into the male and female aspects of this thing about how I kind of feel that they're trying to X Black men out of the equation and separate us by agenda, but I'm not going to get into that. But we basically delivered the vote for this man. They'll tell us they're thankful for our participation, and they'll give us credit in the media and in certain statements and things. But I've always emphasized that, well, I'm gonna just say this: while watching the news today and some of the things that the people were saying about coming back to the middle and the middle right and the middle left after the election, while I was watching CNN, a lot of those things disturbed me because when they start talking about middle right, and I've said this on the show before, that I don't believe that the Democratic Party in many of its facets are willing to take the steps. So they're going to have to be forced to deal with this issue of reparations when we educate our people to what this thing really is. And what I'm saying is that there's a lot of people in the middle right that if black people in the party sneeze too hard, they'll jump ship to the other boat, if y'all understand what I'm talking about. And I believe that the Democratic Party is in the situation, almost the same situation in the Civil War, that they don't want to see the balance with their people broken in behalf of their peace or on behalf of their party, if y'all understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Because they're jumping to the right back to the middle to where they won't have to address our issues in order to keep safe, to keep them people on board. So, but they have to begin to genuinely, we're not talking about what we was talking about on the last show with the social programs. We don't need social programs. We don't just need Section 8 beefed up or WIC beef. We need real transformative policies that's going to make black citizens just as equal as any other citizens. And we don't need that because we retarded and deficient in some way. We need that because we are still living under and carrying on the actual baggage of Jim Crow. And I think Josh said something to that effect, that, and I wanted to add on to what Josh said about the 1994 crime bill that was sponsored by Joe Biden. The bottom line is that philosophy, that idea, and that concept that those congressmen had, that Joe Biden had in his mind, all of that stuff came back. All of that stuff came back in 1994 was an actual carry-on of the same ideas that America and its white citizenry felt in the times of Jim Crow. Lock that in up, put him in jail. And we suffering from that right now. So these things need to be addressed. They need to be fixed, or our children's children go carry this thing out, and we will always be about the bottom of society.
Indeed. Brother Josh, you wanted to add anything?
Oh man, Grim went in. Look, man, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. All I say is the reparations fight has to be louder now. Like when somebody falls asleep, when somebody's, fighting and loud and angry, it's easy to kind of like guide that energy a certain way. But then when they kind of get sleep, when they calm down, they like, man, I'm tired. I'm calmed down. I've been too focused on this. I got fatigue. I need to just go, I got to get my life right. I got to focus on some other things. I'm trying to get rich. I need to do business. I don't have time for that. That's the time when we have to work like harder. We have to work harder. Now is when the real work happens. Because, usually when Democrats get elected, black folks, they go to sleep. That's just what happens. Because it's that false hope. I mean, think about it. We know, like all these people all of our people who, you see Roland Martin on his channel dancing and doing all kind of, man, I'm like, what is this dude doing?
Oh, that was funny.
Man.
That was funny.
And then, like, are you really dancing for Jim Crow Joe Biden? I mean, you really dancing for the dude who said, I don't care why these people are malefactors in society. I don't care. All that stuff we need to, I want them in jail. You really dancing for that dude? You really dance for the dude to say, I'm not going to be responsible for something that happened 300 years ago. You know, even though you're perpetuating the same ideology with the system through mass incarceration. Are people really dancing? No, we're not dancing for that. We just have been made to take a side, you know, which is the side with Democrats. But there's something that happens when you are bend to the will of the lesser evil, and it subconsciously makes you. It's like a real slick way of you doing Stockholm syndrome on yourself, you know. And I think there has to be, soon as the election, all right, you let's say you voted for him, fine, cool. But soon as that's over, you don't need to be doing no dancing. You need to be holding these people accountable. Like, all right, I gave you my little vote. Now this is not for me. I didn't do that. But for everybody else who did, and I know, you know, even a lot of us, some of our ADOS people maybe who maybe they didn't go down ballot, but they just did Democrat. They wanted to get Trump out, whatever the case may be. You know, we know they weren't the ones dancing, right? But what I'm trying to say is, it needs to be an immediate turn up on these people. Like you can't just let the water on the stove just get room temperature. That water needs to be. I need to see some bubbles coming out of that water. You need to turn up that gas on the, you know, the word around with gas. I try not to use profanities on the platform, but I need to see some bubbles coming out the water. That's how they need to feel on there. And because if you don't, guess what? You know, being that we don't have money, you know, we're not a group that has a lot of power interests, you know, like on Wall Street. You know, you're not going to see we have no industry that we control. None of our people are like at the top of any type of industry or any type of production. There's no legacy, you know, businesses that we pass down to our people. All of our top wealth earners are first generation, pretty much, you know. And then the bulk of that is like entertainment. And if it's through some investing, like this is first generation people. So there's no like Mars. There's no ADOS candy company, ADOS shoe company, ADOS tire company, ADOS paint company, ADOS. It ain't none of that. So when it comes time to like pick cabinet positions and you trying to figure out, all right, who's gonna be over the Department of Energy? Who's gonna be over the Department of Labor? Who's gonna be over the Department of Education? Who's gonna be over the Department of State, Department of Interior? All of these departments. That's not like, we're not gonna have the interest in place to make sure that our industries or whatever our people is getting in position for that. You know, if you look at like Trump's administration, well, we knew that Rex Tillerson was getting Secretary of State because they needed that Russia the Russia sanctions to come down so they can do the oil deal. You know, you knew that Betsy DeVos is going to get Secretary of Education because all of the money she even donated to Republicans, and because she was into trying to privatize education. And you know, Rick Perry, Department of Energy. You know, all these people, but they have ties to industry. We don't have people like that, you know. So how are our interests going to get represented? You know, it's going to have to be the fire of the people on these people behind. That's what it's going to have to be. And we can't go to sleep. We're gonna when I'm saying I know we are not, the people that's in this chat not, but I'm talking about all the ADOS people, the other people that voted blue no matter who. You know, the people I'm talking about, the ADOS people that showed up and voted for Joe Biden in South Carolina, in Georgia, and all those other places in the South that elevated him to even win the primary. Those people are going to have to hear what we're saying. We're going to have to get them engaged to turn up the fire on their behind. Otherwise, I mean, hey, immigrants going to get it. They're going to pass pass all kind of legislation. I don't know if the Senate, Republicans win the Senate, they ain't passing that taking the cap off the H-1Bs. They're not getting that passed. But they're gonna pass a whole lot of other stuff. You're gonna do executive order. It's gonna be a whole lot more consideration for other groups, and we're gonna get left behind. Like I said, we're always the car that runs into the wall you know, we run through the wall, we crash our cars all jacked up, you know, glass shattered, the engine is just crushed, frame tore up, and those people had airbags. They was wearing their seatbelt. They just get out the car, go through the wall, get all the goodies, and then, you know, if they feel like taking us to the shop, most of the time they just leave us there or take us to the junkyard. You know, we have to, we gonna have to stay just as loud, or we gonna have to be way louder, way louder. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Definitely, brother
What
Ali.
what I like to say is we got like 140 some people live. Can we get everybody to hit the thumbs up for us, please? That helps us out. If you can hit the thumbs up for us, that would be excellent. It's free of charge. Free of charge. Just hit that thumbs up for us, please, fam. Yeah, so no, I agree with everything that Brother Josh was saying, and you know, we have to, like I said, we have to put our foot on the gas pedal at this point. Stevie Wonder expects vote to bring reparations for 400 years of work. Joe Biden will do it. I saw that video clip when he said that.
Mm-hmm. Let me read let me read what he said, and then you go in. He says, it's a short little article. Stevie Wonder, a Joseph R. Biden supporter, says the Democratic presidential nominee is the man who will make reparations for slavery happen if President Trump is defeated. That's a tall order, Stevie. You asking for old Jim Crow Joe there, but I like the slick, sly putting pressure on this dude. I like that. The iconic superstition singer told Michiganders over the weekend that only by voting for the former vice president could the fight against injustice possibly be won. I'll tell you what, you can do better than a Juneteenth holiday, Mr. Wonder said Saturday before a Detroit audience. I know Joe Biden will do it. Give us reparations.
It's a powerful statement.
Yep.
You know, not only did he say that, but in the larger clip of that particular piece, he also said, I pay a lot in taxes, because obviously he's a millionaire himself. So I pay a lot in taxes already. But if I have to pay more in taxes to make sure that other people are okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. So honorable man, now we're not looking for tax money. Like we say, go read Stephanie Kelton's book. Go listen to her lectures on YouTube breaking down the theory on modern monetary theory.
Now real quick, Ali, imagine if we were able to get to Stevie and say, look, it's not even about your taxes, OG. Look, this is, let me explain to you in the simplest of terms about what's this thing called modern monetary theory. Mm-hmm. Just in the simplest of terms. Mm-hmm. Basically, the government prints money out of thin air whenever it wants to. Look at what they did with the CARES Act. Here's a book by Stephanie Kelton, or well, not a book, excuse me. Here's a video by Stephanie Kelton explaining this phenomena that is modern. Here's a clip of Warren Buffett speaking about it. Here's a clip of Paul Ryan, the so-called fiscal conservative, trying to grill and question Alan Greenspan on it. Listen to Alan Greenspan's answer. We can just keep printing the money. They can do it. But imagine that us getting to somebody like a Stevie.
Yeah, what I would say is, you know, we needed Stevie to talk about reparations in like 2018, 2009. We need him to talk about it then, so we could have got more pressure in the primary, and then you wouldn't have, I mean, so they would have had to, because we needed him to influence that older generation of boomers who just still stuck. That generation that just, you know, voting blue and voting, they have no idea, no understanding about that Joe Biden was not chosen by Obama because Obama saw that he was friendly to black folks, or that he chose Joe Biden because of the opposite reason, that he was hostile to black folks' interests, that he represented to blue dog Democrats and center left people and center right people, and you know, those type of voters who maybe are undecided and racist on the left, that he won't go do nothing progressive that was going to help. He won't go do nothing progressive, period. He certainly wasn't going to do nothing specific for black folks. That's why he got Joe Biden as his VP, and that's so we needed Stevie to talk about reparations to get the older crowd on board. Then, well, I'm not saying he wouldn't help now.
Let me address something real quick, Josh. I didn't mean to cut you. And we want to pull up this video. More Love says, hold on. More Love says, enough with the celebrity nonsense. We at BTP, we don't take that position. At the end of the day, these are still our brothers and our sisters, and they are so far removed from the struggle that oftentimes they forget what it was like to come up off of the things that we had to come up off of, being poor. You know, they have filled their minds with a lot of self-help teachings. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of against self-help teachings, and in this sense, that it forces you to focus on yourself individually. It forces you to play the game of survival of the fittest. So essentially, you'll step on your neighbor, you'll step on your brother, your sister, whoever, to get ahead. And we see that when T.I. has his reality TV series. What's the name of that joint? Hustle something. Grand Hustle. These people are trying to out hustle each other. Like, a lot of that mentality has to be broken, but they are so mired in that mentality and ignored in it. They don't know any other way, because that has been how they've been able to maintain a particular type of psyche and thinking. And it coincides with their lifestyle. You see a Floyd Mayweather, I got money, and we even see that with cats like Polite, right? Polite is on some, I could count $80,000 on a money machine, and you should be able to do that too. You know, and a lot of the origin stories are not being told. Everybody can't box. Everybody's not an Oprah Winfrey. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. And even when you add, and I'm gonna bring my brother Grim on, even when you add the wealth of Oprah, Robert Smith, Bob Johnson, all of the celebrities, Ice Cube, LeBron James, even when you add all of their wealth together, we still only own 2.6% of America's total wealth. So we got to talk to celebrities. These are our brothers and sisters, and hopefully we can get them to hear what we got to say. But Brother Dre has jumped back on, but Ali wants to play this clip real quick. Let's play this clip.
Let me say one more thing about celebrity. I just want to say, I was saying that about Stevie. I was just saying that, because he was saying something that was kind of, when you talk, and he was mentioning Biden. That's why I was mentioning, like, hey, it would have been great if he could have had the message to help, push the message of reparations during the primaries, when that was a top issue. That everybody was having to speak on and account for. But it is what it is. We can take people wherever they at, and I'll take it now if he's trying to get in on the fight now. And I just want to say about celebrity in general, like, just like the average Joe, somebody might be in this chat, might be not full-throated for reparations. They might be an opponent to it, or a non-believer that we need to fight for it. A celebrity might be the same way, and just like we educate them, we can educate the celebrity, and either they're gonna get in and get in on the fight, or they not. They get cast aside. But go ahead, my bad, Graham. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. For I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to say something about Stevie Wonder. and what I think about what the brother said in that regard. And I mean, I don't have no issue on the time limit that he said it and when he said it, but basically, I'm glad he said it. Because I think that basically he was saying it in a way, he was saying, yeah, I know that Joe Biden to do it, but I think that he was placing the burden, when he made the statement, he was placing the burden on Joe Biden. But you a little younger than me, man, so I could say, you know, you probably don't know much about Stevie Wonder, but you know, Stevie Wonder has been placing himself on the forefront of a lot of these issues for a long time, even though he's a celebrity and an entertainer. This just coming from Grim.
Oh
And,
no! I know Stevie. I'm
so
like one of the biggest Stevie Wonder fans out there.
What
Actually,
his brother was doing was that he was basically putting the demands on Joe Biden about reparations in that regard. And I'm actually glad that he made the statement, because now this could be a springboard. Stevie Wonder's statement could be a springboard to carry on and say, hey, Joe, this ain't nothing that you ain't never heard before. A celebrity that you hired to perform at your event brought up to you the relevance of reparations and a fight for equality of African Americans in this country. That's all I wanted to say.
for sure.
Absolutely.
You want to play that clip?
Yeah, let's play.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the clip. But I just wanted to say we got to remember we did this. We already went over this when we did the Ice Cube thing. People were talking about Ice Cube, and Ice Cube need to shut up and stand down and stand back and get behind and be quiet and don't know enough and all of this, right? All of that stuff was said. It's not like that now, right? We got a lot of people championing that brother now because of what he was able to bring to the table through his celebrity. So we can't ever lose sight of the fact that when a member of our tribe is a celebrity, the possibilities of what they could bring to the table are there. And a lot of times what they can bring to the table outweighs and can go farther than the average citizen. So let's always be mindful of that. Yeah, we want them on code. We want them on the right message. Yeah, T.I.'s messaging has been, you know, we could say it's detrimental to what it is that we're trying to do. But at the end of the day, nobody really sat down with the brother to try to explain to him what it is that he needs to know so that he could carry the right message with him as he goes around and has interactions with people and communicate with people who most people in ADOS are not going to be able to reach. So when you want people to have the right information, if they're going to be in the rooms talking with other folks, you want them to have the right information. You don't want to chop them down. You want to bring them in. That's the thing we got to do as a family. We got to start thinking about this whole thing as if we're a big family, an extended family, and one of our cousins or something is out there talking, but he's saying something that we don't really want him to be saying. So we got to kind of embrace him and bring him back into the house and say, yo, listen, cuzzo, look, it's like this. This is what we talking about. Somebody got to reach out to the brother. You can't tell him to shut up. Can't do that. That's not the approach. We've been said that to everybody. You can't do that. You can't tell Stevie Wonder to shut up. Can't tell Ice Cube to shut up. We thankful to Ice Cube now, but see, we had enough wisdom to see the possibilities of what a brother like that could do before he did what he did. So I'm just saying we got to be careful with how we coming at people and telling black celebrities they need to shut up and stand down. So I'm gonna play the video. Let me know when you're ready, bro.
Yeah, oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
Hopefully it's loud enough. I don't know, but it seemed like it might be low, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
So having personal retirement accounts is another way of making a future retiree benefits more secure for their retirement. And also, do you believe that personal retirement accounts as a component to a system of solvency does help improve solvency? Because when you have a personal retirement account policy, it's accompanied with a benefit offset. With that feature in place, do you believe that personal retirement accounts can help us achieve solvency for the system and make those future retiree benefits more secure?
Well, I wouldn't say that the pay-as-you-go benefits are insecure in the sense that there's nothing to prevent the federal government from creating as much money as it wants and paying it to somebody. The question is, how do you set up a system which assures that the real assets are created, which those benefits are employed to purchase? So it's not a question of security. It's a question of the structure of a financial system which assures that the real resources are created for retirement as distinct from the cash. The cash itself is nice to have, but it's got to be in the context of the real resources being created at the time those benefits are paid, so that you can purchase real resources with the benefits, which of course are cash.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't know. Could you hear that? I know
it was good. It was good.
Good. Okay. So I hear someone. Oh, hold on. Let me just see. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. So again, you have Alan Greenspan explaining that basically the government can fund anything that it needs to fund. Well, just with the CARES Act, right? And mind you, remember, we're talking about reparations being funded over an extended period of time. So we're not talking about like we want to pay $100 trillion out in the year 2021. That's not even what we're talking about. That, you know, and it's going to take multiple forms, right? It's not just direct payments, but you're talking about other types of wealth building tools and assets being put together for the American descendants of slavery. So it's much more than what people are thinking. And again, we implore people to really go search out. The woman's name is Stephanie Kelton on YouTube. Go research her stuff and listen to how she breaks down how modern monetary theory works. But go ahead, bro. I ain't gonna stay on it.
No, it's all good, brother Dre. We got brother Dre back up in the building. Did you want to add on to anything, brother, that you've heard so far, or offer some, you know?
Y'all, you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. So listen, when I'm finished talking, Ava, I'm gonna just tell you mute me because I'm at the gym. But
all right.
Basically, I think it was Ali that was saying it, or that said we can't shut up the celebrities. That was you, right, Ali? That we shouldn't shut them up because they can reach the masses. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I want to juxtapose that as well, though, because the problem is celebrities run with celebrities. And if you notice, the people that talk to the celebrities are more misinformed than them themselves, right? I.e., T.I. talk about Jay Morrison and Baba Joe and we need this and all that silly, I don't know, you know, that foolishness. And they don't understand a lot of times when these grifters get with grifters, it's just marketing, right? One guy's trying to market himself. So he'll come to T.I. and say, yeah, we need this. So T.I. can shout him out and in return, get more people to donate into his microloan called the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. None of that is going to help us out, right? That's the problem, is that, as you said earlier, Abba, and you know how I feel about this person, we market the fools, right? So we market Polite. We market Umar. We market all these people that not only are not one politically educated, what they do is they pervert the right information and make it sexier for their followers to follow them even more. Because we all know the sweet lie will always taste better than the bitter truth. And the bitter truth is we don't have money. The bitter truth is we don't have agency. We have no opportunity, right? And so when you get into that reality, then that kind of eliminates a lot of these celebrities, right? Because the celebrity offers you aspiration. They don't really offer you truth. very few Harry Belafontes exist at this time. Very few Muhammad Ali's or anyone of the 60s and 70s that were celebrities that were still walking both lines. They very few of them exist. And then look at us, right? Once again, it goes to my original point. When Ice Cube, you know, sought the help of ADOS and certain people, what did our people do? Oh, he's with Trump. It's just like, we're just silly. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you gotta look at Ice Cube. This man made videos, movies for white America, right? He went from Boys in the Hood to Are We There Yet? When you making Are We There Yet, you really can't talk about black politics. And he said, still, I'm gonna still talk about black politics. That in itself is admirable because that man don't need us. You understand? The problem is, as soon as he does it, we found any reason. Oh, he's stupid. Oh, they played him. How did they play him? They didn't play him. No one played him. This man told you the truth from the beginning. He said, yo, the Biden administration said, we'll talk about it if we win. Trump administration stole some of my talking points and added it. But no one played him. This man put himself on the line for us. And you know who turned their back on him? Us. Like, if y'all don't see the problem with that, that's why it's a hard.
Yeah, that's not. I agree.
And that's why it's a hard.
I agree with
you. Go ahead, Ali. I just wanted to add on to that Brother Dre was saying. I'm sorry,
and hold on real quick, and then I'm gonna fall. No. But what was on my mind, and this is why I don't take very few of them outside of Ice Cube seriously, right? Because look at Puffy. This man told us to hold the black vote. Then he said, nah, vote, because we got to get Trump out of office, right? And then he said, well, we're going to start a party. Okay, all that's good, right? But then I work for a corporate company, I ain't going to say no names, that's a heavy retailer, and I do buying for them. And you know what came across my desk? A Vote or Die t-shirt. I said, well, ain't this a bitch? So Vote or Die happens to come around a week right after you said, well, y'all, we should go and vote. And guess what Sean John is making? Vote or Die t-shirts. You know what that's called? Super capitalism run amok. It's called grifting. And this is why I don't take none of them seriously. Because it's like, we say one thing and we do the other. We talk about one thing and we do the other. And we are the least self-interested people on the face of this earth, especially in America and within the confines of this country. We live in fantastical, like we got black people that jump over buildings in a single bound but can't pay their rent. We just have a lot of fantasy, and that's why I've become jaded with it. I mean, I love having these conversations with y'all with you brothers, because we are taking a logical approach to things. You understand? And we dealing data. That's all I do. Even before Tone, I was doing data. That's how I made so many enemies. But at the same time, it's hard to walk the line with celebrities. Because if you put 10 of them in a room, 9 of them are grifting. And 9 of them do not want to mess up their status quo or their paycheck. And that's all I wanted to say for the second. You can mute me for right now.
I just wanted to add real quick about what the brother said too, about us abandoning Ice Cube. Because he brought something to my mind that I wanted to add with that. It's not only that we just turned our backs on what Ice Cube was saying and what he was talking about, man. But one thing we really got to address, man, is this manipulative, man, liberal media. And I watch a lot of news and I see the things that they do, and I believe that they lent the major news agencies, they lent their agency to skew what Ice Cube did. And I think Ali Bey talked about some of the statements that Don Lemon had made. And they just because the event occurred between Ice Cube and the Trump administration, as far as them asking him about certain pieces of information, the media is like, the liberal Democratic media, I should say, is like they own the minds of these niggas. Because it's two types of white supremacy. It's the white supremacy that comes from the right, that's totally crush and subjugate black people. And there's also liberal racism that believes that they can control your thoughts and your emotions in the way that you think. So the parts of the media, I should say, basically controlled that narrative as far as Ice Cube, and they was like, well, no, nigga, you ain't supposed to say nothing, you ain't supposed to talk to nobody, you're supposed to do what we say. And Ice Cube fell a victim to that, and they basically helped to skew the narrative to help him betray, to help our people basically betray the issues that Ice Cube was coming up with. That's all I wanted to add to what Brother Dre was saying. You know, we got to watch this media, man, because they can and basically combat the parts of the media that we disagree with, because they always skew the narrative. I'm gonna say this last thing and then I'm gonna shut up for the totality. That Clyburn tried today. Clyburn tried to address the issue with black males or black men voting more for Trump than they did for Biden. And CNN basically shut him down. And he was basically saying that it was based upon Johnny come lately exit polls that didn't take the totality of the vote into account during the exit poll, right? And the lady, you know, the shut him, she said, well, no, it comes from before and after, and when before the election started, and they basically cut the conversation off and didn't give Clyburn a chance to address it, even though, of course, you know, we don't agree with everything that he do, but at least, you know, he tried to do that, and the media basically shut him down. They basically say, oh yeah, they voted for him more than anybody else, you know, type of thing. That's what they said in the nutshell. So to add on what Brother Dre, we gotta understand these manipulative forces that exist outside of ourselves as a community that creates the ideas that some of us carry.
Yeah, man. I want to talk about something. I know we got. I think Biden is getting ready to deliver a victory speech. It hasn't come on yet.
Plus, we coming up on 2 hours. I'll be trying to get up off it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially the past couple of days, we've been doing like 3 hours up on this piece.
But I just want to show y'all like another reason why we need to see some bubbles coming out of the water in the pot. You know, we need to keep that gas turn. We got to turn up the gas. You know, we see the steam. Think about this. Like we had Obama, and we know, we're not doing identity politics no more. I mean, we've seen the Kamala couldn't deliver the black vote. We've seen maybe some positive traction on that. Even though, to your point, Grim, the liberal media, I was just clicking on it to listen to what they were saying about the Joe Biden speech that he's getting ready to come out with, but they were just saying on there, well, Kamala Harris has put the Howard hammer to the glass ceiling, and to show that the black woman can achieve all kind of heights. She got to the vice presidency. And I'm like, that is just crazy that they would come out their mouth to say something stupid like that. Because think about this, y'all, just to show like how, and again, this is why we need to fight, because part of it is we're fighting against erasure. We're fighting against erasure. It's more than racism. So let's say if the right wing folks are fighting for racism, what we've seen on the Democrat side is e-racism, where they're trying to erase ADOSness, so they can forget about the debt. They can just like homogenize us in with everybody else, and it is what it is. But now we need to be fighting against that, because the first black president was Obama, with a Kenyan daddy and a white American mama, and who basically a white man with a black African black daddy, right? The first VP, Eric Holder, wasn't he from the islands? Not ADOS. I mean, the first Attorney General, Eric Holder. Oh, come on, man.
Josh dropped off. No.
Yo, Logic, jump on if you can, man. Yeah, go ahead, Josh. What was you saying?
Yeah, I was saying I got when I get hit with that I got hit with a call on my phone. But the first VP is not ADOS, Jamaican Indian. And all of these times the liberal media, and I won't even limit it to liberal media, because the right wing media, they don't know any what the liberal media say. All right. The liberal media and also the right wing media, because they run with it too. They perpetuate this flat blackness. So it's like when I say erasure, I'm talking about, look, like if none of these people are ADOS, and they're talking about they smashing glass ceilings, that for who? It ain't for us. And it's important that we highlight that. We got to highlight the fact that these, would attribute, how did people in 1 to 2 generations skip the line? You know what I mean? All the way from being brand new to the country to reach the highest offices in the nation. Where how many ADOS governors have we had in the state, in the United States history? Maybe like 2 or 3. I know it was Doug Wilder, and it was the dude in Massachusetts, and maybe it was one other long time ago. I can't remember, but maybe like
brother from New York, who was the lieutenant governor, and he became the governor when the other governor he replaced the other governor when he had to leave office.
But he wasn't elected.
Nah, he wasn't elected.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so we, that's talking about from 1776. And you have somebody who can come over here in 1956 or 1966 or 1970s or whatever the case may be, and they can, accomplish that. And we know there's not the lineage cost there. So this is a part of the message we have to keep highlighting, especially because they're going to use this to try to tell us what we can't do and why we don't need reparations and how we on the come up. No. They do not represent us. Stop trying to flatten us in. Another part of what we need is we need to call for disaggregation of all data. And it has to start on the micro level. Anybody trying to talk to you about anything black, you need to shut them down and say, okay, I understand that, but I need that data disaggregated. I need. So what about, how do you break that down? How do you break that down? Is it because, we got African black, we got Caribbean black, we got Native black from the descent from American slavery. We need all of that stuff disaggregated. And this is, and I'm gonna end with this, but don't ever let people make you feel like that you have a smaller voice. Don't ever make people let you feel like that our people are not the largest block in America of minorities, or that we are a minority. We're not. Like, man, Ali dropped off. I wanted him to speak on this too, because you remember we did the show a while back. It's called citizens. What was it called? Citizens. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was dealing with our citizenship, and we broke it down how when you stop calling them white people, and you break it down by ethnicity. Okay, are you a white person? All right. Now, where your ancestry from? You break it down by ancestry. If you break it down by ancestry, I think they had German Americans, which most of them is immigrants. They're the largest group by just a few million. They just got a few million more than ADOS. So really, I would venture to say, especially because most of them may not identify as German Americans primarily. They might just identify as German Americans mixed with British, mixed with. If you take ADOS, we probably the largest ethnic group in America. So we are the majority. So I want whiteness broken down too.
You know, I want all this stuff disaggregated because what it's gonna mean is we have the largest group. And I'm gonna end with that.
Definitely, definitely. All right, look, fam, we've been on for exactly 2 hours and about 13 more minutes. So we're gonna log off. We just kind of wanted to touch and just keep the conversation going. We got to keep the pressure on. Sister Cynthia brought up the fact that Congress did issue an apology. I was aware of that, but I think that it's a more powerful statement if the president of the United States, and I would like to talk to some of those that are better informed than I am on this topic of reparations and dealing with acknowledgement, redress, and closure. Acknowledgement, redress, and closure, to see if that is something that is valuable insofar as an acknowledgement, because what they did with that apology, I mean, it's not weighty right now, but I would like to see a president come out and say I am signing an executive order for saying that the United States of America apologizes for an official executive apology. And I think that, hey, I think that's a push, but I'm going to send some little DMs and emails, et cetera, and go from there. So Biden and Kamala is coming on live right now. Hopefully somebody say something about reparations, because if not, we're going to make them say something about reparations real soon. So again, I'm going to leave y'all with the motto of our platform, and that is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.